everyday vibes. Trash cans in space. Sheik beating up a dog.
Yeah. We've got a run back from winners semifinals. We had, I mean, honestly, this, like we said earlier, very close. Fawn, I feel like today has been like getting comfortable slowly but surely, and getting more confident and like playing back and existing off of your own aggression and aura and neutral in general. Especially in this set, we saw early against Tay. Like, you just gotta stick by your guns quite literally. I mean, try to take the lead as early as you possibly can, because of course, once the Sheik starts taking a lead and starts snowballing, it's going to be really tough to bring it all the way back in your favor. But I mean, oh my god, and WebbJP is completely aware of that, taking a very strong lead early on.
And I'm not sure if Fawn jumped into that bouncing fish or just was hit by a super meaty hitbox of it, but all the same, Webb is not letting Fawn get set up. And, you know, that's half the battle when it comes to the Duck Hunt these days. It's when you have characters that can either set up better than you can or just rush you down and make you feel so smothered. Getting the chance to get started is the hardest part. We're still at sub 10% for Webb here. Finally, that rapid jab is going to at least put out some amount of damage, but Webb says, anything you can do, I can do so much better. The rapid jab setting up a ledge trap and meaty nair into bouncing fish once again, closing down the stock. Webb in prime form in this game number 1 here.
Honestly, yeah, like taking the momentum and absolutely running with it. Exactly what you got to do in a matchup like this. You do not want Duck Hunt to get comfortable whatsoever, considering again how tough it is to get in when they're comfortable and playing their defensive game well. But easier said than done, of course, considering that Webb is just doing such a good job again, not letting Fawn get anything started, like trying to get up with that cannon. You have different angles being set out all the way out here, but even then, down 3 stocks to 1, Webb's just gonna find a conversion like that, and
he's going for it.
Might not even make it back. He's most definitely gonna go for it.
And you know, that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. You get the Fawn forced to air dodge in a super early angle, and Duck Hunt's air dodge is pretty good for a floaty character, but it's not that good. And Webb walks away with a 3 stock for game number 1. And you know, this was a game 3 last hit nail biter. And it still could go to some later games. You know, Fawn has a lot of adaptation going for her, but also can say, you know what? What if I just break out the big guns? The Enderman locked in for Fawn for game number 2. No more dog. We are instead pivoting over to a different type of blockade character. And I mean that quite literally.
Yeah, I made the inference earlier about how one of the only characters that can shape the game state as much as Duck Hunt is Mr. Steven Minecraft himself, and putting on a masterclass so far of just like, you know what, you're so comfortable jumping around and utilizing the stage, taking advantage of moving as much as you can. Like, I'm just gonna change the stage as much as I want. The stage is mine now. You know what? I'm gonna throw hands. We got lost the pickaxe already. We're getting silly.
Yeah, Fawn has decided to pick Steve and then throw hands. So there has not been a block placed in neutral. There's been some mine carts. Oh, excuse me. I've got to remember that I'm not, in fact, a fish, and I am a human, and I breathe air.
Lock in. No, it's okay. I'll take it. Pass it off. I got you. Just do it. Anyways, I'm taking stock 1. I've got Iron Tools online, finally. Against a character like Sheik, again, where you can be going for a lot, like we mentioned earlier in the set with Jackal, you know, we'll go for a lot more of those aerial trades to stop the momentum that Sheik is bringing to the table. And sturdy tools like Iron, bro, is going to be helping you out a lot, unless you're just throwing some chicanery underneath the shade? Question mark?
Yeah, the typical recovery routes from that deep off stage require you to drop either anvil or TNT and then go for minecart, but Fawn didn't have any iron, so when attempting to drop a Either it was a TNT or a anvil fail animation. Fawn just didn't have any sort of vertical boost that she could get, leading to the stock loss. Can't recover that low if you don't have those full resources. And this has kind of been the entire flow, I guess, of the Fawn Steve. When there was a period of time where Fawn was actively practicing Steve, partly out of spite, but practicing Steve nonetheless, where it was actually pretty good. Won a couple Xenos with it, won a couple waypoints with it, did fairly well, but it seems like this Steve's a little out of practice, especially since Webb's entire goal against Steve is just to make sure that Fawn is low on materials, is low on iron, and she never got a chance to recover those resources, get that iron back. So we are going right back to the Duck Hunt duo.
So tell me, did the method work? Did you stop pick up it?
Did I what?
Did you did the thing, the fish thing about the fish thing? Did it work?
Oh yeah, I did actually.
See, you're so mad it worked. It's so stupid, but it worked.
I am a little upset that it simply just worked.
Like my boy Sean told me about it. I'm like, this is just not Ranger Sean, by the way. Shout out to Ranger Sean.
Shout out to Ranger Sean. Shout out to no, not shout out to the board actually.
Well, fair enough. And they say Sheik doesn't do well in the meta. Maybe we just saw Sheik 3-stock to Steve. I'm noticing. No context required. Stroking my chin hairs. I'm noticing.
Yeah, tell me more. Tell me more about how Sheik beats Steve.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What are you expecting me to like explain myself as a caster? What are you policing me now, dog? I can't believe this.
You know, we all have opinions.
Some more correct than others.
Yeah. That was it. There are opinions around. Oh my god. Like, I'm sorry to everyone.
The opinion that Webb is kind of pooping on fire, and I'm not going to lie, guys.
Yeah,
this is not close.
This is brutal.
Dude, there comes a level where, like, the gap is so big that it's kind of just like... Clearly, Webb has just gotten so much more comfortable from their winner set and kind of just like is in the zone and just like fully locked in the idea of I'm getting my run back with Jude, and no one's going to impede on that. I'm just kind of getting it back, and that's okay. That one.
Yeah, there's sometimes on some nights where you just get outclassed. Not to say in the grand scheme of things, that's why any sort of ranking or any sort of listing that's done between players, seeding, all of that is taken over a course of multiple weeks, the entire history of games, or a set period of time, and all that jazz. But on this particular night, Webb seems to have Fawn by the number right now.
It's like Sola's out. This is a filler match. Only highlights of tonight. Or it's like the boxing lineups, or like there's only like 2 matches that you're tuned in for of like the 12 matches. It was like the solo sets, and then we got Grant. Like, you know, Fawn, unfortunately, you're here to pad our runtime.
Yeah. An opening act before the main event.
Yup. No, but jokes aside, honestly, like, Fawn is slowly bringing this back to their favor, right? Like, you still have the throwing out your plethora of projectiles to cover those small battlefield platforms and forcing Webb was getting a little over aggressive. Playing very overconfident and gonna be holding a fat F tilt because of that as well. If you get too comfortable as Sheik, and man, the game can snowball very quickly. This character while being very good is also very light. You get overconfident once and dude, the game's even. Like Fawn is 1 conversion away from bringing this back. So 30%.
I mean, yeah, halfway there. 70%, nothing to sneeze at though. In the range for a lot of what Sheik's offense kind of centers around. That was a weird series of inputs there in the corner. F smash the wrong way, missing F tilts a couple times over, but the rising there, gets Fawn out of it. We talked a ton about how Webb was kind of rolling with all of the confidence in the world, but needs to close out this game here unless he wants Fawn to flex back a potential reverse 3-0 with that same type of confidence. Fawn with any sort of swagger or beat on your habits can be a dangerous thing. And trappers, when they know your defensive options, is a problem and a half to deal with. So Webb hunting for the stock, playing super within himself. So, but the gunman gets Fawn out of a really dangerous spot in the corner. The last hit
the
here,
read
game
too,
over.
but the gunman saving her there. Now looking to cover the ledge again. Webb trying to find his way back, and we'll get up just barely avoiding the F tilt there. Webb really hanging on there too. The gunman coming through. Not going to find the stock there, but a clean shot regardless. Just jumping needles in place. Almost has the updraft there, but nice DI out from Fawn to avoid that. Looking to still hang on here. And the can on the back hit is still not going to take it. This guy's DI is impeccable right now.
The DI, the low knockback growth on so many of these tools, but sent the wrong way, the other way of that can. I wonder if Webb thought he was going to be sent out towards the greater part of the stage, and Duck Hunt not allowing it, sent on the same direction. Fawn doing a great job of bouncing these cans all with every which way, and which way he is being sent, and which side they're landing on this on Webb. That's game 3 going to Fawn. Looking real solid after the latter half of that game number 3. Opportunities abound for a reverse 3-0. Fawn and any sort of player of her caliber, especially on a trapping character like Duck Hunt, can get crazy very quickly, but Webb's looking to steal that momentum back and then some. Ooh, a huge bouncing fish call out on that high recovery, and Webb's not missing a beat trying to make sure that he's going to grand finals.
Yeah, that was definitely the ego check that Webb needed in that last game, saying like, okay, I just want to get back and play or run back against you. Like, nah, man, like, you still got some Smash to play, and you will certainly need to ground yourself once more. Yourself back, even if you are playing really well, you still need to remember that, like, this is a 2-player game after all. You can't just do whatever you want on Sheik. Finally recognizing that, still turning up here in advantage state again, still looking reminiscent of game 3, up a full stock. Fawn, like you saw earlier, most certainly not going to take this lying down, and is still definitely in this bracket and looking to deny Webb this entry into Grand.
Oh my god, that pressure was insane. Wanted that air dodge in that we saw given up from Jackal a few times, but Fawn, all the wiser, not giving it up. Instead, taking this stock with an up smash. Looking good in order to maintain stocks, and as long as you're even stocks, we've seen Fawn slowly chip away at leads time and time again. Webb being extra cautious to stay close to the ground, relying on needles and down tilt and everything in between. Ooh, gotta be careful though, that footstool could have been dangerous. No double jump.
And all the way out there at the can, still barely hanging on there. Webb going super deep. Still gonna find the soccer guards, forcing Fawn in such an awkward position, recovering back to stage. Now one stock away from, again, moving on in this bracket. Fawn, of course, still trying to hang on. Webb doing such a good job of putting the pressure here at this ledge. So coming out, normal get up, just barely avoiding the vortex hitbox. And the back end of that nair through that player is lingering.
Super active. Gunman not gonna give one shit about it though. Still firing that shot off despite those nairs. On needing this stock yesterday fast. Can gonna do its part. Twice over now, still set up in the corner. Fawn holding center stage, but as long as you're playing on this deep type of zoning game, you're not able to convert off of any of these cans. The back air can conversion still not gonna do it. Can knockback overriding the back air, it seems like. All the same, the second back air will do it. 108%, 121 now, not too far behind in Sheik math, because Sheik can sometimes struggle mighty hard to take stocks, especially with any sort of stray hit at these stray hit percentages that we are currently sitting at. But it's certainly still tough in order to try and convince yourself that Fawn has a easy way back into this game. It's going to take a couple reads and a couple big plays. Whoa.
Drift off there with the fan. Gotta be careful. Yep, the updraft coming up down tilt into the up air. Webb stays composed towards the end. Doesn't overcomplicate things. Finds that down tilt into up air conversion. takes the set 3-1 over Fawn. Got caught up a little bit there towards the end. Rick, definitely a little bit too in his head, a little bit too confident in the game plan he was putting forward. But definitely after getting humbled, hitting with a little bit of the humility, head back in the game, ready to move forward into grand finals against Jackal.
Yeah, a solid showing. Definitely from Webb. The Steve was a non-existent for sure. This game too was not it. But the way that Webb was playing, I think, was purely indicative of how he wants to go about any of these games, but especially against characters like Duck Hunt, characters like Steve, and the way that Jackal potentially can play in grand finals, which is much more centered on the reversal game, wants to let Webb be the aggressor and let Webb initiate so that you can play responsive and anticipate what type of offense Webb is going to be going for. But if the offense is just too varied, too flexible, and too safe, like Sheik can play in all three of those adjectives in spades, then it's going to be a hard time to make the right defensive option and the right reversal option in order to make certain that you can win those sets. I mean, it was a Game 5 set in winners finals. Could be another one. Could be a Game 10 grands. Hard to say. Hard to see what exactly is going to happen. But we know for sure, Momo, that we're at least down to these final two players.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be, regardless of how it turns out, it's going to be a hot set. These are two players that we love seeing time and time again, putting on absolute masterclasses for all the beautiful people at home to watch, for the beautiful people behind the microphones to sit and talk about, or not talk about, depending on how deep we are into the meme vortex.
It can happen. It can happen to anyone.
Are you sure? Yes.
Oh.
Sure. Hey guys.